Chapter 1. On Black Friday, I spent $2.99 on an online marketplace like Temu for 5 promotional boxes of condoms. We were poor and had a mortgage to pay, so we had to live frugally. That day I also learned something else. The entire residential complex was developed by my wife. All the neighbors in our apartment building were my wife's subordinates in disguise. It turned out she wasn't a fishmonger at the local market. The pipes in our bathroom leaked that day. Worried about a complaint from the downstairs neighbor, I knocked on their door, but no one answered. So, I went to property management to get their contact information to discuss compensation. The new girl at the front desk looked at me like I was an alien. "Mr. Miller, are you kidding me? This entire complex was developed by your wife. Your building, in particular, all 66 apartments across its 33 floors, is her private property. Who would dare to complain about you? Honestly, even if you did more than just leak water, you could knock a hole in the ceiling and go bungee jumping if you wanted." I was stunned. I glanced at the calendar on my phone several times, confirming it was Black Friday, not April Fool's Day. My wife, Victoria Westwood, and I were just ordinary working-class people who met on a blind date. After getting married, the monthly mortgage of over $4,000 was enough to leave us breathless. We pinched pennies every single day. For us, a trip to the supermarket felt like a loss if we didn't buy something on sale. Annual sales events like Black Friday and Cyber Monday were far more important than Christmas or New Year's. After all, a holiday that makes you spend money is a heist, while one that helps you save is a true holiday. But now, someone was telling me my wife was a multi-millionaire, and I could just kick back and live the rest of my life as a landlord collecting rent. Not even a fantasy novel would dare to have a plot this wild. I walked out of the management office in a daze and lost in thought. I went the wrong way. Instead of heading back to my building, I ended up at the back parking lot of the complex, a place I'd never been before. Just then, several luxury cars, the kind you only see in movies, pulled up. A Porsche, a Maserati, a Mercedes G-Wagon, and the woman who stepped out of the black Rolls-Royce Phantom, dressed head to toe in designer brands, was none other than my wife, Victoria Westwood, CEO, Westwood Your Car Key. A woman who looked like a secretary scurried over and handed a key to my wife. I had seen this woman a few times before, my neighbor from the 4th floor. Whenever we met in the elevator, she and my wife would stand face to face without any expression, each staring down at their phones. Turns out she could smile at Victoria with such fawning subservience. Thinking back to what the girl in the management office said, all 66 units in our building belonged to Victoria. I had reason to suspect that every neighbor I had ever met in the building was one of Victoria's employees in disguise. It was like a massive reality show. Victoria took off her expensive LV dress and a watch worth a fortune, tossing them carelessly to her secretary before hopping onto a green electric scooter parked in the corner. Now that was the vehicle I was familiar with. Victoria had told me she was a fishmonger at the local market. Sometimes she came home late, explaining she needed to take a long shower to wash off the fishy smell. I even joked that someone as beautiful as her must stand out like a crane among chickens at the market, calling her the beauty of the fish market. The women who got out of the Porsche and other luxury cars were also chic, stylish, and beautiful. Every one of them was a picture of wealth and class. "Victoria, heading home so early? Aren't you going to the spa tonight?" "Not tonight. My husband's waiting for me to come home for dinner." "Victoria, are you really not going to tell your husband your true net worth? This whole charade, hiding everything like you're Mr. and Mrs. Smith, is it really that interesting?" the owner of the Porsche asked with a laugh. "His evaluation period isn't over yet. I may be a multi-millionaire, but I can't have a husband who squanders money. That's why I have to train his spending habits and make sure he doesn't develop a taste for luxury, wastefulness, or laziness. Besides, I still need to see if he's a social climber who'll bleed me dry. What if all of his poor relatives start depending on me? That would be a raw deal for me." And those cheap in-laws of mine look mercenary and greedy. I have to be on guard. The Maserati owner gave her a thumbs up. Victoria, you've always got a plan. What if your husband doesn't meet your standards in the end? Then we get a divorce, of course, Victoria answered without a moment's hesitation. I won't give him a single penny of my assets he doesn't know the truth about. Me anyway. So I can just make up some excuse to get him to sign the papers. He might even have to pay me alimony. My heart went cold in an instant. Tears streamed down my face against my will. So my marriage wasn't about love. It was just a test set by my wife. I thought that even though our life wasn't rich, we could support each other through thick and thin, work together, and build a future. It was all in my head. For this woman, it wasn't a question of whether she loved me or not. It was a lack of the most basic respect. She was hypocritical, cruel, and arrogant. My heart already felt like it was being sliced by a knife, but someone decided that wasn't enough. They had to grind it into dust. The woman from the G-Wagon laughed. Victoria, the truth is, you've never gotten over Ethan Preston, have you? You can't trust any man in the world because he dumped you when your family's business failed and ran off to another country to marry some rich foreign woman. I laughed bitterly at myself. So she already had the one that got away, and I was just the consolation prize. Chapter 2. A man doesn't cry easily, but only because the pain hasn't struck deep enough. I bit down hard on my wrist to keep from sobbing out loud. Half an hour later, I walked through the door of our apartment. It was a simply furnished 3-bedroom place. No crown molding, no tile floors, no wallpaper. Because, as Victoria had said, we didn't have the extra money for renovations. Victoria was on the sofa, balancing the budget. This was a rule she had established. Every day, we had to record all our expenses, down to the last 2 decimal places. Where have you been? Did you manage to get the Durex condoms I asked you to buy? Victoria looked up and asked. The night before, after we had been intimate, we discussed what to grab during the Black Friday sales. Besides toilet paper, laundry detergent, underwear, and socks, Victoria said we needed to stock up on contraceptives. We had only been married for half a year, and we went through them quickly. She also said that life was too stressful right now to have kids. So I had genuinely spent $2.99 on Temu for 5 promotional boxes of Durex. When I made the payment, I was happy. My wife was crazy about my body, and I thought it was love. Now, I just wanted to slap myself. This woman wouldn't even let you use expensive condoms. How could she have any genuine feelings for you? She was obsessed with your body because you were just a toy to her. I forgot to order them. I'll just buy some from the pharmacy. It won't be that much more expensive. In fact, I didn't buy any of it, the toilet paper, the detergent. It's too exhausting to rack my brain over such petty savings. I walked into the room without changing my shoes. I'm not cooking tonight. Let's eat out. I heard there's a new steakhouse at the mall downtown that's pretty good. It's only about $250 a person. Clack. Victoria threw her pen down on the coffee table with a bit of force. Sincere, what's wrong with you? Who are you trying to spite? I've been working hard all day, slinging fish at the market, and it's exhausting. Do I have to come home to your bad mood too? I already told you, we have to live frugally, otherwise who's going to pay the mortgage, the HOA fees, and the utilities every month? The internet bill alone is over 80% a month. That's what I make in a whole day. Why are you being so thoughtless? Don't worry, this one's on me. It's our farewell dinner after all. Sincere, what kind of tantrum are you throwing? Victoria frowned, about to lecture me again, but I had had enough. Before I walked in, I had planned to do this peacefully without a fight. The deepest sorrow is a dead heart. When a couple fights, it means they still have expectations of each other. I was completely disillusioned with Victoria, but hearing her impatient tone and seeing her furrowed brow, I couldn't stop my emotions from erupting. Victoria, stop with the PUA games. Stop telling me how to live my life. I've had it. You have no right to tell me what to do. Fine. We don't need a farewell dinner. Let's just split the assets. You love balancing budgets, don't you? Let's get a divorce. The tears I had been holding back burst forth. I held up my phone, showing her the picture I had secretly taken of her, leaning against the Rolls-Royce, smiling as she removed her makeup. Great actress Westwood, the show is over. After a moment of shock, Victoria's expression returned to calm. She didn't offer an explanation, not that I needed one. She showed no sign of guilt. Instead, she shrugged helplessly. I guess I was too careless. Fine, let's move on to the next phase. She opened a drawer and pulled out another document. Since you've gone off script, this phase of your evaluation has to end early. This is the prenuptial agreement my lawyer drafted. Just sign it. It states that if we divorce in the future, you won't have any right to my family's assets. But as a humanitarian gesture, I can give you a certain amount of severance pay. The amount will be calculated by multiplying the actual years of our marriage by 5. For example, if we divorce after 5 years, I'll give you 25 years of severance, with the annual amount based on the average per capita income for urban residents published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. What a meticulous woman I used to find her penny pinching, ways charming, thinking it showed her sense of responsibility towards our family. Now it just made me sick. Victoria, I want to divorce you sincere. Don't play these pointless push and pull games. Victoria looked at me as if she could see right through me. I know you'll be unhappy for a while because I deceived you, but when you think about my real wealth, you'll be nothing but happy and relieved, right? Don't all you men dream of marrying a rich, beautiful woman and reaching the pinnacle of your life? Congratulations, your dream has come true. I saw undisguised narcissism and unabashed contempt on Victoria's face. In her heart, we were from 2 different worlds. Marrying me was an act of charity on her part. She played with my feelings, and I was expected to be grateful and thank Her Highness for the opportunity, because the line of men waiting for her to play with them was probably a long one. Victoria, when I thought you were poor, I truly loved you. I ripped the marriage agreement to shreds and threw the pieces in her face. But right now, you're just vile. I don't love you anymore. Get out. Victoria's face, once quite pretty, was now twisted with shame and anger. She was about to say something else when her phone rang. What is it? Victoria, Ethan Preston is back from overseas. He divorced the rich foreign woman and is at a bar, drinking himself into a stupor. He was crying and saying he wants to get back together with you. At the mention of her old flame's name, Victoria shot up and rushed to the door. Just as she was about to leave, she stopped. Sincere, I'll give you one more chance. Do you really want to divorce me? If you beg me now, maybe I won't go find Ethan. Chapter 3. Of course, I didn't ask her to stay. I didn't want to, and I couldn't have stopped her anyway. A woman whose heart has strayed is like a dog off its leash. Victoria didn't come home that night. The next day, I texted her the divorce agreement I had drafted. We had only been married for 6 months and didn't have many valuable assets. When we got married, I made the down payment on the house, paid a $7,500 dowry, and bought the traditional gold jewelry. She had said she wouldn't bring a penny of the dowry into the marriage, but insisted her name be added to the deed of the house. I figured since we were family, there was no need to be calculating, and a woman needs a sense of security, so I added her name. My parents were very unhappy about it. After the wedding, I was responsible for $3,000 of the $4,500 monthly mortgage, while Victoria, with her lower income, paid just $1,500. I also covered the groceries, cooking, and utilities. In the divorce agreement, I wrote that I wouldn't ask for the dowry back, and she could keep the mortgage payments she'd made. But the house was mine. She would move out, and she could take all the appliances and jewelry. A clean break. I knew she didn't care about any of this, but it was a matter of principle for me. I didn't want to take a single cent from her, and I didn't want to be taken advantage of again. Sincere, are you stupid? Even if you're getting a divorce, you can't just ask for this. Take half her assets, and what about all the time she slept with you this past half year? Doesn't she have to pay for that? Gigolos are expensive these days. My buddy Brian, who knew the whole story, was exasperated with me. I shook my head and ignored his advice. As for her sleeping with me all those times, I could only consider it bad luck. I couldn't ask for money. It was like being bitten by a dog, because I'm not for sale. Victoria's reply came slowly. She was probably busy with her one that got away, Ethan. Sincere, you'll regret this. If you divorce me, you'll never have another chance to marry into wealth. You'll never meet another woman of my caliber. You will pay for your ridiculous pride with a lifetime of regret. City Hall, 9 a.m. tomorrow. After sending that, I blocked her number. The next day I had just returned a bike-share bike at the City Hall entrance when Victoria arrived. She had a new car, a blue Lamborghini supercar. She wasn't alone. A handsome man in an Armani suit sat in the passenger seat. At first glance, his features were somewhat similar to mine, but much more refined. It dawned on me. I had just been someone's stand-in all along. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm actually here to convince you two not to divorce, Ethan said with a look of sincerity. Marriage isn't easy, and this is all my fault. It was me who, blinded by greed, abandoned Victoria when her family's business failed. I'm the one who hurt her. His eyes reddened. I regretted it almost immediately, realizing I had lost such an amazing woman. I truly hope you don't make the same mistake I did. She only deceived you as a test. She meant no harm. I didn't come back to break up your family. A man's greatest achievement in life is finding a good woman, right? Victoria is such a catch. You shouldn't give up on her. What she did is understandable. It's all because I broke her heart back then. She's so devoted to me that she built walls around herself, making it hard to let another man in. Ethan suddenly grew agitated, grabbing my hand and trying to make me slap his face with it. Take out all your anger on me. It's all my fault. Hit me. I knew Ethan was acting. It was a sanctimonious, self-righteous performance. He was trying to disgust me while putting on a show for Victoria. He had wronged Victoria in the past, and she surely held a grudge. Instead of waiting for her to confront him, he was taking the initiative to criticize himself. This self-flagellation was his way of placating her. So it wasn't just manipulative women. Two-faced men existed too. He thought I wouldn't hit him, but I went along with his hand, adding more force. Slap! A loud smack landed squarely on Ethan's face. 5 clear fingerprints instantly appeared on his handsome scumbag face. You... Ethan stared blankly, completely bewildered. I only drink fruit juice, not green tea, I said, shaking my slightly sore hand. I'm not interested in your past drama, and I don't care about your future romance. But right now, we are not divorced. She is still legally my wife. Who are you to come here and grandstand? You deserved that because you're pathetic. Besides, you asked for it. If I didn't hit you, I'd be letting you down, and I'd be letting myself down. Tears welled in Ethan's eyes, but he didn't lash out. Instead, he put on a look of understanding. Fine. I know you're angry. Hit me if it makes you feel better. This is what Victoria owes you, and I'll take the punishment for her. He leaned his face in, looking like a martyr ready for sacrifice. I didn't hesitate and raised my hand again. Enough. Sincere, how far are you going to take this? Victoria grabbed my wrist. I know you don't want to let me go, but making a scene like this will only push me further away. Are you done with this divorce melodrama? Why are you so insecure? Do you really think I'm going to dump you? The more aggressive you act, the more it proves how fragile you are inside. She pointed a finger at the doors of City Hall. Do you really dare to walk through those doors? You're just putting on a brave face. Ethan also watched me nervously. He wasn't just here today to get under my skin. He was worried I wouldn't actually go through with the divorce. I wasted no more words and led the way up the steps to City Hall. Whoever doesn't sign today is a dog. Chapter 4. An hour later, Victoria and I walked out of City Hall. At least Ethan had the sense not to follow us inside and make a fool of himself. That 1 hour of waiting had been torture for him. His face was a mask of anxiety. "Is it done?" Ethan rushed up to ask. Victoria shook her head. A look of immense disappointment washed over Ethan's face. He dropped the act and finally exploded at me. "Sincere, showing your true colors, are you? I knew you didn't have the guts to leave Victoria, she's so rich. A pauper like you must have. Had ancestors smiling on you to marry her, you'd be willing to walk away from that? Don't give me that crap about her deceiving you, even if she beat you every day, even if she cheated on you daily and whipped you, you wouldn't leave. Who was that act of being above it all for? You're disgusting, let me tell you. Don't think a marriage certificate can tie Victoria down. You may have her body, but you'll never have her heart. She doesn't love you at all. You're just my replacement." Ethan's face was contorted with hysteria. I couldn't be bothered with him. I took out my phone to unlock a bike-share bike by the roadside. Ethan wouldn't give up, grabbing the handlebars. "How much money will it take for you to leave her? Name your price." Victoria could no longer remain silent. "Ethan, that's enough." Ethan looked wounded. "Victoria, don't tell me you can't bear to part with him. Then what about me? I came back to this country for you. Are you going to betray me? You've been abroad for too long. Don't you know there's a cooling-off period for divorces now?" Ethan's face froze. He looked completely constipated. He stammered for a while before finally squeezing out, "Well, I just thought since your relationship has broken down, it would be best to part amicably. I was just worried." The divorce cooling-off period meant that after a couple voluntarily applies for divorce, there's a 30-day window during which either party can withdraw the application. Over the next month, I moved out of our old apartment and rented a place near my office. I also planned to sell the house. I had no desire to live on my wife's property any longer. I still hadn't figured out how to tell my parents about the divorce. To be fair, while Victoria had told many lies and done many disgusting things, she was right about one thing. My parents were indeed rather mercenary, and they played favorites. Many parents in rural areas favor their youngest son. My family was no exception. My parents cared most about my younger brother. They always said that as the older brother, I was responsible for my brother's future marriage, car, and house. When Victoria and I got married, they were very unhappy about the house situation. They said I had forgotten my family after getting a wife. They called me unfilial for agreeing to add her name to the deed, even though I had earned the down payment myself. So I was certain that once they found out I was divorcing Victoria, they wouldn't sympathize with me. They would only mock me and call me a fool. After I started living alone, I always had the feeling that someone was following me. On the 17th day of the cooling-off period, my suspicion was confirmed. It was Brian's birthday. It was just the two of us, and we drank a lot. We were both drunk. Brian couldn't drive, so he called his younger sister Jane to come give me a ride home. No, not home. To my rental. A divorced man has no home. I had known Jane for a long time. She was an art student and was very beautiful. Since middle school, her brother and I had gotten into more than a few fights for her, fending off troublemakers. She had recently graduated from film school and said she wanted to break into the entertainment industry and become a star. I sighed when I heard that. Becoming a star isn't that easy. When we got to my apartment building, Jane looked at my flushed, drunken face. "Sincere, can you get upstairs by yourself?" Yes, no problem." I stumbled out of the car, trying to act tough, but a gust of night wind hit me. I retched and threw up. I was always a lightweight, and drinking on a heavy heart, it was a miracle I wasn't more drunk. "I'd better help you up." Jane got out of her Mini and came over to support me. My body went limp, and I fell right into her arms. Just then, Victoria's cold voice cut through the air. "Sincere, you're not even divorced yet, and you're already this eager to find your rebound." Chapter 5. I looked up to see Victoria and Ethan standing before me like a perfect couple. This time, Victoria was driving a Porsche Cayenne. Ethan looked at me with disappointment. "Sincere, Is it appropriate for a man and a woman who are not related to be embracing like this? Have you two been having an affair all along? Hiding it from Victoria? This young lady is Jane, isn't she? Your best friend's sister. I bet you knew Victoria's real identity all along and were just playing dumb as part of your own scheme, right? Ethan was a master of mind games. He never missed an opportunity to stir up trouble. Their timely appearance confirmed my suspicion that I was being followed. It was Ethan's doing. Victoria's face was ashen. Sincere, I need an explanation. A man can be playful, but he can't make mistakes, and he certainly can't be unfaithful and flirt with other women. Before I could say anything, Ethan jumped in, eager to sling more mud at me. Victoria, I think this man has been acting the whole time. He claims you deceived him, but in reality he was the one deceived. Whoa. Ethan was about to continue his tirade when a police car suddenly pulled up beside them. 2 officers got out. Mr. Preston, you are a suspect in a financial fraud case. Please come with us for questioning. Victoria froze. A week later, I ran into Victoria again downstairs from my office building. Her eyes were bloodshot. She wasn't showing off any of her luxury cars, and she seemed depressed. There are still 10 days left in the cooling-off period. Don't worry, I won't delay the big event of your remarriage. My words were intentionally sarcastic. As expected, her expression soured. Ethan was in trouble. He and Victoria were college classmates and had dated back then. Victoria's family was in real estate, making her a wealthy heiress and an only child. After graduation, she took over the family business, but due to her inexperience, she was swindled by a partner on a major project. The scandal nearly bankrupted her family. Scrambling to cover the losses, Victoria was desperate, borrowing money from everywhere. The grand wedding she had planned with Ethan was put on hold. That was when Ethan broke up with her, got together with a rich foreign woman he met at the gym, and left the country. This deeply wounded Victoria's pride and filled her with a profound hatred for materialistic men. That was why she had pretended to be poor when she married me, manipulating me in every way. Recently, Ethan had returned, approaching Victoria with all sorts of apologies and flattery. It gave Victoria a sense of vindication. She often brought him to social gatherings to see old friends. She was essentially showing off to everyone. See? He regrets it. My life isn't a failure. I have no blemishes. I'm still the best. Unfortunately, she had fallen for Ethan's trap again. While Ethan was fickle with Victoria, he was deeply devoted to the foreign woman. His foreign lover's business abroad had recently run into serious trouble, so Ethan volunteered to return to his home country, deliberately got close to Victoria, and lied about being divorced. He claimed he had business, resources, and connections overseas, and wanted to partner on a project. In reality, it was all a scam to get Victoria's money to bail out his foreign girlfriend. The projects he proposed were based on fake data. He didn't just swindle Victoria, he scammed several old classmates as well. He never loved Victoria, he just saw her as a cash cow to be exploited. Essentially, it was a romance scam. His aggressive behavior toward me, his attempts to sow discord, and his jealous outbursts were all part of an act to portray himself as an ex who was envious of her new partner. It was all a performance to make Victoria believe he was still obsessed with her. The one thing he didn't count on was the police catching on to his scam. His show finally came to a disastrous end. Victoria was furious and humiliated. She and Ethan had a complete falling out, and he ended up in jail. Ethan is a huge swindler, and I'm a victim too. Can we not get a divorce? Victoria grabbed my hand. Sincere, I realize now that you're the best. All those other men are too calculating. Too complicated. As she spoke, she pulled out a red property deed. I've already transferred the house into your name. If you think the old marriage agreement wasn't fair, we can renegotiate the terms. I've seen so many men, and you're the only one who is pure. Let's get back together. I took the red property deed from her and smiled. How many people toil day in and day out like ants, enduring bullying bosses, backstabbing colleagues, and crowded subways, all for a piece of paper like this? Just like during the 6 months of my marriage to Victoria, I mistakenly believed we had a mortgage. I scrimped and saved, slaving away for the bank, all while waiting to pay it off. Back then, how I wished I could own the house outright. Still smiling, I tore the deed to pieces and threw it in her face. Victoria, I'm not for sale, we're divorced. Don't come looking for me again. You only pretended to be poor before. I hope you don't start acting pathetic now. For the first time, I saw panic in Victoria's eyes. Sincere, I admit I was wrong before, but can't you forgive me this one time? Lots of couples fight, they talk about divorce, but they don't actually go through with it. This is different. I pulled my arm away from her grasp. A couple can have conflicts, but they can't have deception. They can't lose the most fundamental trust now. The sight of your face makes me sick. I don't believe a single word you say, not even a punctuation mark. There's no way we can live like this anymore. But have you thought about the consequences of divorce? You'll lose a lot of wealth and become a divorced man. You'll never find a woman better than me, Victoria insisted. But at least I can find a woman who is more honest than you. That was a critical hit. Victoria's lip trembled. And you're not as smart as you think you are. To be fooled by the same man twice. Your intelligence doesn't match your acting skills. Victoria's face turned green. Chapter 6. Victoria haunted me relentlessly. After the cooling-off period ended, she refused to sign the final papers. I could guess what was going through her mind. Before, when she was deceiving me with her Poverty Act, she was the director, the lead actress, and the screenwriter. She was in complete control of the entire production. Then Ethan appeared, her show ended prematurely, and she discovered she had been played by him. And I, the man she had treated like a fool, was now completely out of her control. She felt a profound sense of failure. Did she truly regret it? Did she really still have feelings for me? I didn't believe it. At her core, she was a selfish and cold-hearted person. You can't use your past wounds as an excuse to hurt others. A truly kind person, having been caught in the rain themselves, will hold an umbrella for others in the future. Only a selfish person, having been bitten by a dog, turns into a wolf. Victoria simply couldn't accept her failure. So, the more she acted like she couldn't forget me, the more disgusted I was with her character. Because I consistently ignored her, she invested in the company I worked for and had me promoted to be her personal secretary. I resigned in protest. After I found a new job, she did the same thing. Sincere, just accept it. You can't escape your fate of being kept by me. I resigned again, already planning to set up a stall at the night market. No matter how powerful Victoria was, she probably wouldn't become a security guard just to follow me there, right? Come work for me. I happen to need a trustworthy manager. You studied administration and know finance, right? You're perfect. I don't want any trouble with taxes, even though I'm not famous yet. Jane Shaw extended an invitation to me. I accepted, because I didn't want this pure-hearted girl to be corrupted by the entertainment industry. I wanted to protect her. After I took over, I helped her pick 2 roles and both became hits. She also landed her first endorsement deal. Jane was thrilled and always told me, "Sincere, you got divorced too late. If you had come to help me sooner, my career would have taken off long ago." She really had a way with words. Are you really with this influencer? Victoria, like a dog blocking the road, stood in front of Jane and me again. I've already filed for divorce in court. My private life is none of your business. Are you trying to provoke me on purpose? Divorcing me to be with this low-class trash? Victoria looked at Jane with eyes full of contempt. Women in the entertainment industry are all sluts. You're not even worthy of polishing my shoes. And you certainly don't have the right to wear my sloppy seconds. I trembled with rage. Victoria wasn't just insulting Jane, she was insulting me. It seemed my decision to insist on a divorce was the right one. Deep down, she had never respected me. Before I could say anything, Jane, who was usually quiet, spoke up. "Miss Westwood, right? To be honest, Before you started acting so aggressive, there was nothing going on between Sincere and me, even though we've known each other for a long time. But because you're attacking people like a rabid dog, I've discovered many of Sincere's good qualities. The fact that he won't sell his soul for money and won't tolerate a rotten person like you for material gain, that alone makes him a man worth loving. Jane turned to me. I'm still single. Why don't we give it a try? I can't promise you anything else, but I can promise that even if I become an international award-winning actress, I will never betray you. Okay, I nodded without hesitation. I was grateful to Jane for playing along to get rid of Victoria. As expected, Victoria stormed off in a huff. Thank you for acting with me. I thanked her sincerely. Jane looked at me. Sincere? Who said I was acting? I wasn't acting. I really think you're a good match for me. Jane wasn't kidding. She actually started pursuing me, a woman chasing a man. When Brian found out, he was ecstatic, practically jumping for joy. He even secretly told me that his sister might have had a crush on me for a long time. He said that on his birthday, when we all got drunk, she wasn't planning on coming. She only showed up because she knew I would be there. As Jane and I spent more time together, we developed a genuine, supportive bond. Victoria, however, was still relentlessly obsessed. When she saw I wouldn't take her back, she went to my parents. She offered them a considerable sum of money to persuade me. My parents, blinded by greed, heard that Victoria was a true heiress and completely ignored her deception towards me. They used every tactic, pleading, threatening, bribing to get me to drop the divorce lawsuit. They even said that marrying such a wealthy woman was a blessing from our ancestors. My brother's future wedding wouldn't just be a house, it would be a mansion, so she lied to you? Big deal. Even if she had 10 men on the side, you shouldn't divorce her, my mother nagged, twisting my ear. That's right, I forbid you from seeing that Jane girl anymore, an actress. Our family's future depends on you, my father fumed, his mustache twitching. Thankfully, my younger brother was sensible. Bro, your happiness is what matters most, don't be a social climber. And I won't be a leech, my mind was made up. I ignored my parents and saw the divorce through the court system. A court-ordered divorce has no cooling-off period. The red marriage certificate was finally replaced with a green divorce certificate. Green. What a wonderful color. Full of life, full of promise. My life seemed to be getting better and better. My parents were so angry they threatened to disown me. But it was just talk. Jane's career was taking off. She landed her first leading role in a movie, but someone was trying to sabotage her. Unless you leave Sincere Miller, you'll never make it in this industry. I'll turn all your hard work into nothing, Victoria threatened her with a cold, sinister tone. Jealousy had twisted her features. With her power and influence, it was easy to target a fledgling actress. Jane, I didn't want to drag Jane down because of my problems, but she squeezed my hand. It was the first time she had initiated physical contact. Sincere, didn't you once think about setting up a stall at the night market? Why don't we open a small family business? You can sell spicy hot pot, and I'll sell roasted sweet potatoes. Don't worry, we won't starve. Tears welled up in my eyes. Okay, we can sell rice cakes too. I nodded, crying. Victoria left in a huff, and in her haste she crashed her Mercedes into a light pole. Unfortunately, she was fine. Jane and I were genuinely preparing for a career change. But then, a turning point came. Jane won an award for a supporting role in a previous film. She won Best Newcomer. Now Victoria could no longer suppress her career. And Jane kept her promise at the awards ceremony. She proposed to me. At the same time, the Westwood family's real estate business imploded. After struggling for a few years, Westwood Realty declared bankruptcy due to insolvency. Victoria no longer had to pretend to be poor. She was now a deadbeat. We all have bright futures ahead of us. The end.